think it's very important for many people to know what's going on globally, so to speak, and we work in different corners, and some of them are far away and others are close to where we live, but we need to cover it all.
We need anthropology as much as anything because it is such a rebellious discipline that it stops us from falling into habits of thinking about human beings that are just part of the received wisdom that we call common sense, and common sense which, as Gramsci pointed out, is hegemonic. So it gives us a site to push back at assumptions that underlie some of the worst attitudes and ideologies in the world today, like racism, for example.
I will respond with a simple story. So, in my field work, one morning I woke up. I was woken up by my teacher out of Mujani Tongo, and he woke me up, and he said, "I have something important to tell you." So I was shocked. So I got up. And we went, he said, "Go to the side of my spirit hut, and we'll sit down on this straw mat." And we sat down, we drank some tea. He looked out at the bush, the wilderness, and he said, "You know, things are not right today." So I said, "Why is that?" He said, "Well, there's no respect for wilderness. There's no respect for the bush. And there's no respect for, and people in town have no respect for one another. And when you have this disrespect, all hell breaks loose. If you disrespect the bush, you have drought, you have insects, the crops are not harvested. And if you have disrespect for one another, it's an imbalance that creates all sorts of conflict." He said, "My job," and he said, "I want you to listen to this very carefully. My job is every day I make offerings to bring balance to the imbalance caused by our disrespect for the bush, and bring balance for the disrespect that people bring to one another. That's my job every day." Then he told me, he said, "That's my work, and I want your work to be my work." And that set the tune. The point is that he, among many other people, they are carriers of great wisdom about the environment, about social relations, and by and large, he's, if you looked at him, he's an old man dressed in sort of like old dirty clothes. What does he know, right? But he embodied an incredible amount of wisdom, and this is indigenous wisdom. And for me, the importance of doing anthropology today is we are the conveyors, we can be the conveyors of a lot of this wisdom to other people. And the world is indeed in need of this kind of indigenous wisdom to, deal with the environment, we deal with one another, we deal with our political and social, economic conflicts. And so people do not listen to these elders that much. So one of our, for me, the primary mission of anthropology is to convey as much of this wisdom to the public as possible.
I think anthropology is more important than ever today because I think there's so much misunderstanding everywhere, and there's so much wrong information, and there's so many misinterpretations going around all over the world. And you've got all of these crises, like climate and migration and everything, and so much of them is. So many things seem to be based on a lack of understanding, and people having the wrong information. And I think one of the things that anthropology does is explore how people live in the world in different ways, what it means to live in the world and what it means to be in different places, to come from different social systems, different political systems, all of that. And I think it's if you look at students doing anthropology, I think they always, by the time they've finished, they see everything completely differently from the way they start. I think it's something that makes people turn everything upside down and think about it and then put it back up in a different way. So I think that's why it's more important than ever. And I think it has all the baggage of colonialism and imperialism and everything else that goes with it. But we just have to keep on working against that and keeping the good things, I think.
We might very easily find ourselves in a position of helping people for all sorts of other reasons. And that's why I like to think about anthropology not as applied, because applied anthropology means usually that you're doing it for some institution, but engaged anthropology, that is, you're caught up in the needs and desires of the people with whom you're working, and you help them to the extent that they want to be helped. And that's also very important, that they should want to be helped, or they should want that kind of collaboration.
First of all, we must realize that anthropology is many things. There are different ways of being anthropologists and different ways of thinking about anthropology. But generally, I think what characterizes anthropology is the fact that we are dealing with persons and people that we don't know before we meet them. And then we take notes and we write and we become the wiser, and we can sort of say things to other people who don't know either. So I think we have something to do, and besides that, it's fun to go around the world and to move around different settlements, different regions, different persons, all of
What distinguishes anthropology from other disciplines? We do fieldwork, right? And fieldwork is a transformative process. And fieldwork, the quality of fieldwork is based on the quality of the relationships that people create with others. And if those relationships are positive and they're ongoing and span a good amount of time, it's very, very rewarding for the individual anthropologist. But it's also a way of understanding, conveying that wisdom that other people hold about the world. And if we can bring that message to a large public, then we're doing our job very well, and it makes us quite distinct, and what we're doing is quite important.